So, you've had a child. It's a wonderful thing. And the child is growing up. But one day the child looks up at you and says, "Dad, Mom, I want to become an F1 driver." Now, what do? How much does it cost to become an F1 driver? So becoming an F1 driver is a dream pursued by many, but it comes with significant financial costs. Firstly, aspiring drivers often begin their journey in karting, which serves as the foundation for honing driving skills. Usually karting starts at between 6 and 7 years old. Karting itself, fuel, equipment, repairs can cost about $35,000 to $50,000 per season. And then you have to add travel and entry fees. In total, if all goes well, your karting career will be about 7 years and you'll spend between $300,000 and $400,000. After karting, a driver must go through a regional, national, or international championship at around 15 years of age. Some type of single-seat regional Formula 4 competition. Each season of a Formula 4 competition will cost around $200,000. If you're lucky, within a year or two, you'll move to Formula 3. Now in Formula 3, the competition steps up. In Formula 3, either European F3 or Formula Renault, the cost is around $400,000 per season. Drivers usually make their debut between 16 and 18 years of age. If they're good enough, they'll stay 1 or 2 years. Next, they would jump to FIA F3, which costs around $600,000 per season. Total cost is around $1 to $3 million for car development, team fees, travel costs, accommodation, coaching, physical training, and extensive testing sessions. And the next step, we'd like you to subscribe so we can bring you more racing videos about the racing world and people in it. Another important factor is sponsorship. Securing a spot in F1 team involves more than talent and skill. It often requires financial backing or sponsorship. Many drivers rely on personal finances or seek support from sponsors, investors, or family backing to cover the substantial costs associated with securing a seat in F1. The lower categories of motorsport are focused on many brands and small and large companies who look at children and drivers they believe have a great potential to sign them and pay for their career and thus continue advancing through the categories. In this way, the driver represents the brand and wears its logos, so they are an investment as they advance to the more prestigious categories. With the larger audience, it will give them greater visibility and the publicity to the brand. Thus, many drivers whose families could not afford to pay for their careers have been able to move up to Formula 1. Fernando Alonso, for example, received a lot of money from the Spanish telecommunications company Telefónica during his pre-F1 career. Similarly, Lewis Hamilton was sponsored by Mobil 1 and McLaren, which ensured that the Englishman made the leap to the pinnacle of motorsport. Now, if you're a standout in Formula 3, you'd move on to Formula 2. Formula 2 is prestigious and competitive and has excellent media exposure. F1 teams follow it very closely. A F2 season costs around $2.5 million, and if you're good enough and it will take a couple years, you'll get noticed by an F1 team. Total team costs can be up to $5 million, and these costs would cover team fees, car development, travel expenses, accommodation, coaching, and testing sessions. After obtaining a super license, you could be an F1 driver. Now, as an F1 driver, how much money did it cost? Well, from karting, from the F4, Formula 3, F2, the total grand cost to become an F1 driver would be between 7 and 10 million US dollars. It's a fairly expensive endeavor to make your child an F1 driver. Now, if you have the money and the means, then it can be done. As you see, there are some F1 drivers who come from very rich families, such as Lando Norris or Lance Stroll, but also there are F1 drivers whose fathers who were F1 drivers, so they were fairly wealthy, who were able to help their sons advance. You have Josh Verstappen, the father of Max Verstappen. Then you have Nelson Piquet Sr., who funded the career of Nelson Piquet Jr. And then you also have Keke Rosberg, who helped fund the career of Nico Rosberg. Whether your career was funded personally or through family or through climbing through the ranks and through sponsorship, there are various ways to become an F1 driver. It is fairly expensive, but it can be done. Also, once you become an F1 driver, usually F1 drivers make millions of dollars per year through their salary plus other outside endorsements, so they'd be able to pay back anyone who helped fund their racing career. We hope you enjoyed this F1 education video. More videos will be on the way on the channel about the F1 world and MotoGP and IndyCar. Redbet signing off.